My name is Erica Gamet. Welcome back. In this week's video, we're going to look at the difference between character styles and paragraph styles in InDesign. This is a subject matter that tends to trip a lot of people up, so we're going to look at the differences between the two and when you would use a character style versus when you would use a paragraph style. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. There seems to be a lot of confusion between paragraph and character styles in InDesign. And I think part of the problem comes from the fact that when we're working with paragraph styles, we actually include not only paragraph level attributes such as alignment, margins, drop caps, things like that, we also deal with character level styling such as the font size, the leading, kerning. So all of that actually goes into a paragraph style. So I can see where there is some confusion. So I'm hoping that what I'm going to do here is just sort of show you what goes into each of those and a couple of best practices for creating and maintaining a character style versus a paragraph style. For me, I like to think of it along the lines of building a house. Now, I've never actually built a house, but I've seen a lot of them built. And so I'm just going to look at my little rudimentary drawing that I have here of a house. When you see a house being built, you notice a lot of similarities. No matter what the house looks like in the end, it starts out with usually a foundation and framing of some kind. So you get this sort of skeleton that's happening, and that becomes sort of the base of the house. And that is pretty much what the paragraph style is. So that becomes our floor or our foundation in this little drawing that I've created here. So basically think of it that way, that the paragraph holds up everything and is the foundation on which everything, all the text in your entire document is built, the paragraph and the paragraph style that you create for that. So let's jump over to my text here, and I'm going to open up the paragraph style panel. And like I said, one of the things that we put into a paragraph style is everything that we normally associate with character styling, and that's where things get confusing. So one thing to keep in mind is that you can have one paragraph style per paragraph. Obviously, when you apply it to a paragraph, it applies to the whole paragraph. And you can only have one character style applied to any character or multiple characters in your text. So we're going to look at how we might need to build character styles to account for all the items we might want to put into our character styling. But let's start with our paragraph style. And how I create a paragraph style is I don't go into the paragraph style and start putting the information in. I basically style some text, and then I tell it that's what I want my paragraph style to be. And in future videos, as we look at how to refine and change styles along the way, I'll show you where that will come in handy. But for right now, let's just create a paragraph style. And normally when we're working with paragraph style attributes or paragraph attributes, we can just put our cursor in the paragraph and make those changes. But because I'm also putting in character styling attributes into this, I want to make sure I have at least some text selected. And in this case, when I start out, I usually select an entire paragraph. So I'm going to quadruple click and get that entirely selected. And I'm just going to start styling the text how I normally would, using my control panel or my character panel, and make the changes I want to this paragraph, and then we'll tell it it's a style. So in this case, let's just go ahead and change this to, we'll change this to Minion Pro, regular. I'm going to start with body text. I normally start with body text when I'm doing my styling. Let's just make it a little bit bigger so we can see it a little bit easier. Just make it 20 point, and maybe we'll make the leading, we'll actually make that 23 points. All right, so we'll look at that, and once we say, okay, that's what I think I want my paragraph style to look like, and again, we can make changes along the way. That's why we use styles, so that we can continually update it and not have to reselect all the text to update it. By maintaining styles, we can make the change once, and it ripples throughout our entire document. All right, so I've got what I need there. I'm going to go over to the paragraph style panel, and I'm going to come down to this little new style icon that's here, and I'm going to option or alt click on that. And when I do that, not only does it create the new style, but it launches the new paragraph style dialog box. And I want to tell it to apply that to the selection, and the selection I have is that entire first paragraph. I want to make sure that I'm actually assigning this style to it. And what I need to do here is give it a name. We'll just call this body text to start with. And I'm going to leave everything else blank. I'll cover those, like I said, in future videos. But right now I just want to see down here in the style settings, I can look and see that it tells me that it's 20 points, the 23-point leading. I've got optical kerning turned on, and I've got some open type alternate setup. And that's just stuff that was already in my text, whether that was set as a default or something that I manually added. But whatever I've done to the text that's selected now gets force-fed into this paragraph style. So I don't even have to do anything with it. I gave it a name and I'll just tell it okay. So now I have my body text ready to go. So what's a character style? Well, the character style goes on top of the paragraph style and is an exception to the rule. So if we jump back to the lovely house document that's here, so we have our paragraph as the base, the foundation, or the floor, or the skeleton of the paragraph. Well, in a house, we change each room. Each room looks a little different. We might put different colors on the wall, or texture, or decor. Maybe we put different floor coverings. Maybe one room has tile, one has carpet, and that type of stuff that we do in the house is what gives each room its character. So for us, that's what we do with a character style. We put stuff on the floors or on the walls, and we make each little bit look a little different from the foundation. So that's what a character style does, is it goes on top of a paragraph style, and it says, okay, I see how you have this paragraph set up, and I like it, but I would like some words to be italic, I'd like them to be bold, whatever. And we all know, hopefully we know, that if we select some text and we do something like, I'm just going to use my keyboard shortcut for italicizing, I get this little plus next to it, which tells me I have an override. That means I set a paragraph style, but then I've come in and said, hey, change this text. Well, what we don't want to see are any of these pluses. We do not want to see overrides, because those items that are overridden like that can get left behind, especially when we start making changes to the styles. And again, the whole point of having a style is so that when I want to make a change, I only need to change it in one place and everything else changes with it. So I want to make sure everything comes with it. So what we need to do here is, instead of manually italicizing that, I need to create a character style. So my character styles are always pretty simple, because basically I'm telling it, great, this paragraph is Minion Pro regular, 20 point, but I would like some of it to be italic. Now, a lot of people think, okay, great, then I need to make a Minion Pro italic character style. I don't want to do that though. I want my character style to just be italic. So I want to say, no matter what I apply that to, that character style italic, doesn't matter which paragraph style it goes to. If I have a paragraph style that's here, that's set up in my active grotesque, I know that when I italicize it with that character style italic, it italicizes it there, no matter what the font is. Also, if I put font information into a character style, that information will stay no matter what the paragraph style is that's underneath it. And in that case, if I made a paragraph style called the Minion Pro italic, and then I applied it to the paragraph down here, everything that's italicized will also be in that Minion Pro instead of the active grotesque. So again, I want my character styles to be super, super simple. So I'm going to open up the character styles panel. And I'm going to make sure in this case that nothing is selected. So I want to deselect everything, make sure nothing's selected. I want absolutely no information to be force-fed into my character style. I'm going to come over to my character style panel and Option or Alt-click on the new style icon. And we'll give this a name. We'll just call this italic. And I'm going to go over here to the basic character formatting and choose italic from the font style. Or I can use the pull-down menu if I want to as well. Now, if you notice, there's nothing in the font family. I do not want to define that font. I just want to say it's italic. So it's whatever the paragraph style is plus italic on top of that. So I'll say OK to that. Now I can grab a word that I need here, and I can choose italic. And now I don't end up with that plus. It's not an override. It has a body text for the entire paragraph, but I've also told it, hey, I want it to be italic here. Couple other character styles that I tend to do are bold. I might have one that's called bold italic, because remember, you can only have one character style. So if I have a bold one, I have an italic one, then I want one that's bold and italic, I have to make a third style called bold italic. And I would set all that in the same exact way. Other styles I might use are things like colored text. And for me, when I'm naming my styles, whether it's a paragraph or a character style, I tend to name my paragraph styles for the function they serve. It's the body text, it's a headline, it's a caption. But my character styles generally tend to describe what it looks like. So in the case of like colors, I might come in here and say, okay, I need a new color. And I'm just going to go ahead and create one really quickly. I'm working in RGB. Let's just make it green. We'll say okay. And you notice it doesn't show up. It's a little bug in InDesign. If you've double-clicked to create a new color in this dialog box, click on any other pane and just jump back, and magically your color appears. It's just a little bug. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it that's green, and I'll just call this green text. So I know that when I want something to be green, I could double-click on that and tell it it's green text. So it just adds that on top of that. Now occasionally I do put font information inside a character style if that font is the exception to the rule. So for instance, you might want the first character in a paragraph style to be Zap Dingbats, and you can use what's called a nested style. I will do that in a future video as well, but I can tell it that the character style, the only thing that's different from the paragraph style is that it also uses Zap Dingbats. So it'll keep all the other information, the size and the leading and all that, and the alignment, but it will say, but change the font to Zap Dingbat. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure nothing's selected, and then I'm going to create a new character style. I'm going to option click on that, and we'll call this Dingbats. And the only thing I'm going to define is the font family and say it's Zap Dingbats. I'll say okay. And now I can select some information. Maybe I want to go ahead and I will just do 4 because I know 4 is a character that I want to use at the beginning of a paragraph because I want that character styling to be Zap Dingbats. So I'll come in here, and now I get that check mark that's there. So I can tell it that the font information is something that's different than the paragraph styling. So you might do this for drop caps. You might have a character style that is entirely different font and a different color, so you can have a drop cap. And then using nested styles, you can put that inside your paragraph as well. So hopefully that makes sense, a difference between character and paragraph styling. Paragraph is sort of the base. You say this is what the basic paragraph looks like, but on top of that, I would like to make a few changes. I would like to say everything's the same except I would like it green or italic or bold, or maybe it even changes font, but that's the only difference, and it's for making changes to small amounts of text. You might even have a whole line or something like that, but it's not for doing an entire paragraph. That's what you use a paragraph style for, how the paragraph for the most part looks. The exceptions to the rule are defined in a character style. Well, I hope that cleared up some of the mystery between what a paragraph style is and what a character style is. Hopefully that was helpful to you. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if it was and you liked it. I'm going to be covering styles more in a lot of my upcoming videos, not just text styles, but also object styles and table and cell styles. So if there's something specific you want to know, let me know in the comments below. Also, if there's other applications you'd like me to cover, other topics in InDesign, anything, let me know if there's something specific you'd like to see in upcoming videos. And you can either do that in the comments below, or you can reach me on many of the social media platforms. I've got my links off to the side over here. You can also click on my name down below that goes to my website, which is ericagamet.com. And as always, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you get notified when I have new videos that come out. I do release videos every Wednesday, and so until next time, I will see you later. Bye-bye.